Taranaki Daily News Mayoral Candidate Debate 2022. Thank you for coming and thank you to the candidates for, it's been a long road to here. I believe this may be one of the last or the last, so let's go out with a bang. I hope you've all paid for your parking. For those of you who haven't, let's hope the council recognises the value of taking part in the local government process. And for those of you who are watching online, thank you for joining us. This is the first debate, in fact the first event the Taranaki Daily News has broadcast live. Fingers crossed it all goes as it should. Just a couple of housekeeping things. If you've been here before, you know what to do, but if you haven't, in the event of emergency, maybe it starts shaking like it did last night, follow the exits there and there, out to Liardet Street or out to wherever. Follow, someone will be leading. I'll be running first, so I've got an advantage, I'm not seated. For those smaller personal emergencies, please don't be embarrassed. Out the door to your right. I won't say anything if you're walking out in the middle of the debate, no problem. Okay, you may have noticed there are only 6 candidates here today, when there are actually 8 standing for the mayoralty. So unfortunately yesterday I made the decision to rescind the invitation to candidate Sean Clare following a threatening social media post he made to one of our photojournalists. And Peter Hargrave has dropped out, and he dropped out last night. He's alleged threatening behaviour from fellow council candidates. So we'll be investigating that today. Excuse me?
Settle down, Russ. We haven't
We'll
started
find
yet.
out, Rusty. We'll find out. So it's a lucky thing we've got a morning debate. We started at night, we'd have no one left. So, okay, so let's get into meeting our candidates. To start with, each candidate is going to have 90 seconds to introduce themselves, and they've done this a dozen times or more already, so I'm sure they'll be able to do it quicker than that. At 15 seconds, candidates, you will get a small ding to say wrap it up, and then if you don't wrap it up, you may have me turning your microphone off. I'm sure it won't come to that. So, the first candidate to introduce themselves, Maori McDowell.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome, individually, collectively. My Christian name's Murray, nickname Muzz McDowell, born and bred 1969. I'm the proud father of twin daughters. I call them my V-twins. They're currently living down Nelson. My dad, I'm a good fruit of his branch, of his tree. Mum's still kicking. Can you please turn all your cell phones off? Mum just celebrated being 80. This is my first time as a rookie, the underdog. My number one policy is honesty, and whatever comes out of my mouth is nothing but hopefully the best, but always the truth. I've worked here, born, bred, raised here all my life, 3 to 6 months down Levin with my grandparents when I was about 6 years old. I've been a truck driver, I've been a farmer, landscaper, store man, now called person. I enjoy rugby, motorcycle enthusiast, and I'm a fighter. I battle right from the bone to the marrow until I can't go no more. I'm here for you, not here for myself. Hallelujah, have a great day.
Thank you, Murray. Can I just ask all candidates to speak directly into the microphone as much as they can? There's a large audience out in the foyer who'd like to hear as well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you everyone. Murray Chong. I've been a council elected member for 9 years, 3 terms, the longest serving council elected member currently running for mayor. I always said I would probably give 3 terms and I'll see what it is. And basically it was the theory that nappies and elected members should be changed regularly and for the same reasons. However, I must admit that I still stand for the values I stand for when I first got elected in 2013. That means I'm there for the ratepayer, I'm there to challenge the thinking. A mayor, totally different position, and I totally realise that. We need to work as a team. We need to look at the practical and saving aspects that are strongly needed in the future for your children and grandchildren. I've given out this 10 pages, the most informative information brochure you'll get. It always beats me. People will come here and sit for 2 hours, but they won't take a brochure to read. This is the information. Please have a look at the person next to you. I'll be referring it throughout this debate, and it's very, very important information that you are not being told. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, I'm Greg Mackay, and I'm standing for Mayor as well as Councillor at Large, because I'm at large anyway. I'm a straight up person. I'm honest and caring, and I have the community at heart. When it comes to the long-term plan, I'm a renegade with this, and I'm a renegade, and I don't like the bullshit that goes with it. 100% bullshit. Now, in this 10-year plan, this can put us up to $400 to $600 million in debit, and it's not getting paid. It will cost us nearly over $21 million in interest, and as far as I'm concerned, it's not sustainable. And this is what you call sustainable. And we need to start fresh and go from there. I also will put my heart and soul into saving our three waters. I believe we don't need water meters, but we need infrastructure and free parking for all, plus more. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Can I just ask the candidates clarify when they're talking about facts or their personal opinions? Sam.
Thank you, Matt. Good morning, everyone. We, as a collective community, are in recovery with significant challenges ahead as we continue to battle through together what has been an extremely difficult term for us all. My policies are clear, folks. Accountability and transparency, affordable, and to achieve local and responsive Three Waters infrastructure, to stop, pause, review and reset year 3 of the long-term plan, to reflect achievable delivery, to lead and influence the 2024 long-term plan review, to ensure that we can achieve our aspiration of a sustainable lifestyle capital, to return the mayoral leadership of your district to you, our people, through grassroots community governance with a clear-cut focus on a district-wide inclusivity philosophy where nobody or no town is left behind, to lead our climate change initiatives for a better, greener future for our children, and to re-enable the voice of our youth in our future planning. I offer you a lifetime of critical leadership skills, including a wealth of governance, advocacy, management, business experience across private, public and global sectors, prudent business and financial acumen, plus a framework of cultural mindfulness that is crucial to ensure that I acknowledge the kaleidoscope of 82 diverse cultures that currently live, work and play in this beautiful district. My commitment and resolve to you as your new mayor, that you will have my undivided attention to serve our community before my own self-interest. This community under my leadership will come first, where nobody or nowhere gets left behind. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sam Bennett.
You didn't.
Kia ora tātou katoa, ko Dini Moehu tōku ingoa. My name is Dini Moehu and I'm running for the mayoralty of the new Plymouth District Council. This is an exciting time for us as a community as we continue to oversee some of the challenges that we've faced. In 2019, when I got elected, I got to work straight away to assess the issues that we've got as a community. There were things coming our way, including the reforms, the Three Water reforms, the review of local government, and many other issues that we have to navigate through. It's interesting when I look at the community work that each of us aspire to do. I look at the community work that have already been done that inspired me to take that next step to serve our community. In 2018, I was acknowledged by this council as a recipient of the New Plymouth District Council Citizens Award for services to community and charity. Then again, I was nominated and made a recipient of the Taranaki Daily News Award for Taranaki Daily News Person of the Year, specifically for services to charity and community. The exciting part that I love to focus on is finding a way through while we navigate through the noise and the hardship that our community face. I would love your support as the Mayor of this district. I honour you all and thank you for coming. Kia ora.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui. Hi everyone, my name is Neil Holdham, and firstly I would like to thank you. The last 6 years have been an absolute privilege. I also want to thank you for the fantastic team of councillors you've chosen over the last 2 terms. In front of you, with the propaganda, is a map. I delivered this map to you 3 years ago and said if you elected me, this is what I'd try to work with the team to deliver. We've marked the things we've made progress with a tick. The things we haven't made progress with a cross. On the other side is my pledge for what I would like to achieve with this team for the next 3 years. You'll note the major focus on infrastructure, and my view is let's keep it local. I oppose the Three Waters reform. I believe that Taranaki can do it better, and we need less centralisation out of Wellington, not more. I like to listen to our community, to learn, to seek to understand. I think it's important to our people that we then write things down and go back and say, did we get this right? And then it's about delivery. Ultimately, it's what we do for you that is the real test. These ideas have come from you. They form my commitment to you. I love this job. I love this community. I love this place. I'm all about delivery, paying something forward for our children and future generations. Thank you. Ngā mihi nui.
Thank you, candidates. A lot of passion, enthusiasm and commitment for the job there. Maori, the image of nappies in local government was probably one we could have done without, but there you go. So, I'll have it with me for a while, unfortunately. Look, our next section is a specific question to each candidate. Again, they're going to have 90 seconds to answer, but over the last week or so, the news teams got together. We want to drill down on one aspect of their campaign, their track record, or their personality. Random selection to who starts, and it is Dinny.
Oh.
And then to the right. So, thanks, Dinny. Dinny, you say the community is hurting, that people can't afford to live, and over the next 9 years, our residents need stability and security. You have floated the idea of using the Perpetual Investment Fund to provide that stability and security. How much of the fund do you propose to use, and how will you use it to provide stability and security for this generation while maintaining stability and security for generations to come?
Beautiful. What a simple question to answer.
Excellent.
Here's a clear vision. Local government has the opportunity to enable our community. The PIF fund is set aside to do exactly that. Currently, and next week at our meeting, in my view, they're looking at presenting a local bill to government that, in my view, will further restrict the ability to enable our community to utilise that money for you. As someone who goes out into the community all the time, I sense the pain points from these sectors of the community. How do we alleviate that pressure? How do we enable you to do better? How do we as a council enable, as associated with the Local Government Act, $50 million we can set aside to ensure that we can alleviate that, but also use, if you want the projects completed, how do we realign that investment? It's a simple equation, but right from 2019, the walls have been put up exponentially whenever I've asked the question, how can we use this for our community? And next Tuesday, we'll find out how well that argument will be. Kia ora.
Thank you, Denny. Neil, you are the next man up. As a two-term mayor, you have focused on building the district into the sustainable lifestyle capital of New Zealand. There are now a slew of major projects in the pipeline, including the 248 million water infrastructure upgrades. Shit. I'll repeat, 248 million water infrastructure upgrades, 40 million to the active community hub, and 28 million for the Waitara Walkway extension, which all comes with a rates rise of 12% this year and 7% for the next 2 years. Can you convince us that you are not simply building a lifestyle capital for the wealthy?
Absolutely. I think the investments that we're proposing to be made are actually about storing value for future generations. The fact that we have to catch up for our infrastructure reflects that as an organisation we haven't delivered in the past, and ours is a generation that's got to step up and say, do we accept effluent in our rivers and streams and out on the coast? Do we accept flooding in places like Waitara? How do we connect our communities up? These costs that we're asking people to bear are about actually saying we've got to do better for the next generation. We actually have to lift the quality and longevity of our infrastructure. And then in terms of the sports hub or those pathways, it's about connecting people up and sending a message to our children that they matter. Too many councils have kicked things down the road because actually increasing rates is politically unpopular. I'm incredibly proud of the team that you chose and the way we've worked together to actually say we're going to do what's right, what's not popular. And the reality is, I think when people look back at the plans that we've put in place, once they've been delivered, they'll realise that this was in the best long-term interest of this community. We're laying the foundation for the future that our children will live, and I'm extremely proud of the work that our team has delivered over the past 6 years.
Thank you, Neil. We'll move across the table to Murray McDowell. Murray, you're a man who speaks from the heart. You've obviously got a lot of passion for your community. You've been campaigning for how many years? More than a couple, it seems. But you've also based your campaign on a hairstyle, asking people to vote for you, not asking people to vote for you, but to vote for a mullet. Tell us, why should voters take you seriously?
Because I'm a man of my word. Vote the mullet with a tick. Had nothing to do with running for mayor, because it's a numeric system. Hence, when I went official, I changed it to a number 1 on the front and complied with the rules and regulations, and just had a mullet competition endorsed by myself, backed up with Crowded House, and yeah, it's actually a fashion. I've had this thing for over 25 years, 30 odd years coming up, guaranteed 25, you know, and it's, you know, like woo. It's quite simple. It's my identity, but you've got to look at a person what's within their heart, when they speak from their heart. The thing is, I've been doing my homework over 2 years, 9 months, up at Girls High. I've been on the back of my truck, complying with the law of the land. The police go, "Where's your scanner?" It says it's broken. I said, "I don't need it because you were waving out to me now." Then I went official. And the thing is that every vote counts. I'm not saying vote for me. What I'm saying is I'm giving you all an option.
Thank you, Murray. Our second Murray, you're up next. Murray, you famously say it like you see it. Stand up for what you believe in. This doesn't always endear you to everyone, and as a councillor you've made headlines for such things as your embarrassment over the Te Reo Māori version of the national anthem, flying the Confederate flag, been part of the illegal occupation of Parliament grounds, and you've even got into a fight with your own council over a parking ticket. How can we be confident that as Mayor you can be an advocate for the entire community when as a councillor you have frequently alienated sections of it?
I'd like to say the media's half this problem. All those... There you go, see? I was saying it. All those accusations that he just said had a huge twist to the media, and many people believed it. I've only got 90 seconds to explain myself on each one of those, but if you want to come up to me, I'll tell you the real story. And I'm actually quite peed off how the media twist these things. I've been in business a long, long time. Finance industry, I've got 1,500 clients. I get in the front page for parking on a yellow line. Okay, I wasn't even parking, I was in the car all the time. Yet you think in business, if I ripped anyone off in my industry, I would be all over the place. Doesn't happen. They don't write about that. They don't write about the 21,000 hours of volunteer time I did for this community before I was a councillor. Why don't you write things like that about me? So if they actually tell the story and be fair, maybe you'll get a good ground story on what the person I actually am. And feel free to ring me. Feel free to ring me on the number, on my flyer, any time of the night, and I'll explain it. Thank you.
Thank you, Murray. Good answer there. Greg, you're up next. So, Greg, the last time I saw you, you'd stood for Mayor in 2019. I haven't seen you since then. You've popped up again. In between, we haven't heard from you. So, aside from ordering some LTPs to rip up, what have you done in the last 3 years to prepare yourself to lead this district?
I've thought about over the last 3 years how to come back and whether I've had problems. I broke my back a couple of years ago, and I still don't have any strength or anything back. And a lot of few marital problems to sort out and children to sort out. But I'm back. I want to be back. I want to be here for the community. And if we're not here for the community, what do we have? We have nothing. And Vinny was talking about bits and pieces. Well, I believe, and I've been thinking about this for years, and it was brought up last time I ran, we need businesses to help us along the line. If we don't have them, we're still going to end up with rate rises. We need to subsidise. We need to subsidise our rates. And we're the best one with power and gas company to start with. I also want to see this place and our assets in a cooperative. I think that's the best way that we can go with it. We can still run with mayors and councillors and stuff like that, not a problem. Because you've got to have a committee for a co-op anyway. So, yeah, I'm back, and I want to do what's right for the people. That's what I want, that's my main part of it. And try and stabilise our rates. And I also want to have a look at being debt-free.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Sam, lucky last. Sam, throughout your campaign, you've talked about returning to the grassroots of the community. You have said you will attend community board meetings to make sure you're in touch with the community. How do you propose to connect to the 64,000 or so New Plymouth district residents not represented by a community board?
Cool, thank you, Matt. Right from the beginning, I believe that we have lost the art of community governance, and that starts with our leadership. If elected, I will take our community from a mayoral position back to the grassroots democracy. Grassroots democracy, ladies and gentlemen, starts with your community boards. Your community board members are the most amazing individuals that you have in your towns. And I am there to support them. I have been, in the last 3 years, a frequent visitor and contributor to all of the community board members. What is the common theme? We don't see the mayor. Where's the mayor? And one guy said to me the other day, Sam, it's like a Where's Wally puzzle. We know he's there, but we can't find him. Well, you'll bloody find me, because I'll be in your community supporting your community boards, because all of our decisions start at community board level right through to the room that we sit here. Now, I am known out along the coast from Okato to Tongaparutu to Tarata and everywhere between. And I am known, I have a huge profile, and I've worked all of my life to get that profile. So people know who I am. And I can promise you, if I'm your mayor, you will see me in your community being present. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam, and thank you, candidates, for we've ripped through those questions a lot quicker than my plan says. The benefits of having fewer candidates, more time for questions at the end. Now we've got moving to the next section. It's a question that all candidates will answer. It's a little bit broader, but again, they've got 90 seconds. For this question, we're going to start with Neil. So, Neil, what is the single biggest issue facing this district, and how will you, as Mayor, address this issue?
I think right now, the biggest issue that we've got is the cost of living. And realistically, there's very little that council can do about dealing with that. But in terms of the biggest issue for council is that we've got the centralisation agenda from government. They want to start by taking out 3 waters. We have a feeling that the roading may be next. There's a reform called the Future of Local Government that reflects Wellington's determination to reform what we do and how we do it. Our concern is that it's a stalking horse for amalgamation, and they're going to try to drive all of the councils together. Our view is that, or my view certainly, is that we do things better locally. I think you've seen the advocacy that we've had in Taranaki in terms of dealing with this global giant waka kotahi and the really poor delivery and lack of accountability to our community. We're now seeing health reforms, we've got the polytech reforms. So I think the key thing for our community is actually keeping local democracy local, fighting to retain a strong voice for Taranaki, and I work with our other mayors and the chair of the regional council so that Taranaki has a strong voice. We speak as one to Parliament with mana whenua, and we say we want to keep local local, and I think that is critically important for our community.
Thank you, Neil. We'll go across the room again, and to you, Murray. What is the single biggest issue facing this district? Murray, look here.
All of Murray.
And what is the single biggest issue facing this district, and how will you as Mayor address this issue?
Biggest issue is the MPDC, the New Plymouth Dictating Corporation. The waste of money, the rates, people getting paid. Myself, I'd ask for a performance report from the CEO, accountability for every cent that goes. I've sat in here for over 18 months, listening, learning what's going on in my hometown. I don't like the injustice of this corporation. You know, CEOs bickering, arguing and all that. You know, peace be with all of you as you do your best. Not to say I'm any better, but yeah, I've got to think about this, you know, top-heavy corporation. Company cars, cruising around. What's wrong with your own vehicle? Highly paid employees. You know, that's what we pay for. The people. Accountability. It needs tipping upside down. Top-heavy. Turn it around. You need leadership the CEO is under the leadership of the Mayor, and you need 14 councillors to help the Mayor as a team.
Thank you, Murray. Sam, you'd like to have a reply to that?
Yes, I would. Ladies and gentlemen, Murray has just stated that we have highly paid employees here. Well, I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that the majority of the staff that work for you in this community are not highly paid. Our engineers that are responsible for putting pipes in your ground for the next 100 years are not on big money. And they could leave tomorrow and go to the private sector and triple their income tomorrow. The people that work in this building, your people that work for this council, are here because they love working for your council. They are not here for the money. So to say, Murray, that we have staff that are overpaid is incorrect, and I will back our staff every step of the way, and I will support them because they do a wonderful job. We are nothing without our people. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you, Murray. Murray Chong, you're up next. What is the single biggest issue facing this district, and how will you, as Mayor, address this issue?
If you go to my flyer that did get it, this is why I said I'm going to be using them. These two issues in my flyer, have a look, are the biggest issues out, okay? One is our long-term plan. The green was our 2015, the orange was our 2018, and the 2021 was that. 2024 is going to be off these charts because there's a lot of things we've put back on carry-on in excess of tens of millions of dollars. We have to add back to it if we promise to do what we told you. Because what we're doing is taking things away after we've promised it, after we've set the rates. This here is very important. This is a big issue. This is the unsustainability of our council. We might say we're the sustainability council, but economically we're not. Okay? My daughter, she's 25. By the time she retires, her rates, if they keep on going the way they're going, are going to be 91% of her retirement income. Can you imagine if your rates were 91% of your retirement income today? That is not sustainable. That there is the worry. That is going to create huge stress to our community, and that's what I'm standing for. Not just me, my children and my potential grandchildren. Thank you.
Murray, I'd just be interested in how have you extrapolated to the 91%?
That there, hold on. Okay, 91%. At the moment it's 10%, so our current rates are 3,000, it's a bit more than 10%. Our current retirement income for a single person is about 26,000. All I've done is I've increased that by 2% every year, and I've increased what we are increasing by, and I've done it very, very low figures. So it actually could get worse than that, okay? Because we have to stop doing something. We've got to stop this trend. What are we going to stop? We have to get hard here. We can't have three major...
Okay, thanks, Murray. Have you increased the pension at the same rate? So it's 91% of an inflated pension.
Tell me how many times you've had your pension increase 6% every year.
So no. Is that the answer?
Well, that's
okay.
Not a defeat of the card.
Thank you. Greg. What is the single biggest issue facing this district, and how, as Mayor, will you address this issue?
Our biggest problem is our infrastructure. Akaru runs out of water. Uranui needs a new sewage system out there. And we need infrastructure in town here, as well as the other little villages around the place. We've got to start somewhere. And as a community, we need to come together and have a look at all these infrastructure stuff that needs to be done. Akaru, to me, would be top priority, running out of water. That's important. We don't want sewage going everywhere out at Uranui, so that's important as well. If we work together as a community, we can decide on which projects we need to go. But the top projects are, to me, is infrastructure. It has to be done. There's pipes downtown over 125 years old. And as the plumber said to me, he says, I don't know how long they're going to last for. They can blow out any time. We don't want that. So the top priority to me is infrastructure. And then we've got to have a look at everything else. We can titivate the top afterwards, make it look nice and so forth. So we've just got to get our butts into gear. But to do that, we've got to help us along there. As I said before, we need businesses to help us along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Just to clarify, the projects you talk about, are they not included in the water infrastructure upgrades?
Yeah, they are, I believe. I haven't got right into everything as yet. So I was out at Ocado, and the fellow over here was saying that, yeah, they run out of water all the time.
Okay.
So they need it. They have to have it.
Yep. Thank you, Greg. Sam, what is the single biggest issue facing this district? How will you, as Mayor, address the issue?
Thank you, Matt. There is not one single issue that faces this community at the moment. I'm going to name these and then I'll swing back to the most important one. Our cost of living crisis on fixed, lower income and household and businesses is critical at the moment. Fixing our plumbing is critical. It's stuffed. Government centralisation versus the loss of local democracy and governance autonomy. We're in trouble. The inequitable payment of tax back into our state highways and VTT's economic development opportunities. These are critical. First equal, where I believe our biggest challenge is the cost of living crisis on our fixed lower income households and our businesses and our plumbing. So what am I going to do about that? Currently, ladies and gentlemen, we have a 7.3% inflation rate, 13% on food. I started today by saying we are in a time of recovery. As a prudent leader of this district, I believe we need to buy ourselves some time to recover. What does that mean? That means in the next annual plan, the long-term plan, third year, 2023, we need to pause and reset and have a look at that plan and make sure not only can we deliver it, but I believe that we should give our community a time to recover. It's all good for people that have the money, right? But what about our people that struggle every day? They're the people that concern me. And as we go into 2024 for the long-term plan review, we will revisit and meet our sustainable lifestyle capital goals when it is appropriate to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Dinny, you've heard everyone else's answer. Now it's your turn. What is the single biggest issue facing this district? How will you as Mayor address it?
Kia ora, thank you, Matt. There are multiple facets and issues that we have to deal with. If we start off with the reforms, we've got the review of local government. That's one reform that's going to be quite challenging if there's an amalgamation on foot. We've also got the RMA reform, which in my view is a massive piece of work that is very concerning, but there are opportunities to navigate through that. And then obviously you've got the 3 water reforms. From an organisation standpoint, let's be real. We are not delivering and executing. But when I have a look at the lingering effects of COVID, that's also real as well. But when we have a look at our staffing and when we have a look at this new climate that we're facing, I go back to the principles which enable local government. How do we enable and promote the social wellbeing? And these fix is, do we have a strategy for housing? How do we enable our cultural wellbeing, be the entertainment mecca in the country? How do we enable our environmental pillar, working alongside Mana Whenua, working alongside our other councils to ensure that the water is clean and fresh? And then how do we increase our economic pillar? How do we attract businesses here? How do we utilise our CCO? How do we utilise Venture Taranaki to draw business in here? I'm focused not just on the issues, but on the solutions. Kia ora.
Thank you, candidates. A lot of awareness of the issues out there, a lot of awareness of the pain that a lot of people are going through, and some good ideas and commitment there. Our second question for the morning A shared question is about the vision for the district. Murray Chong, you're the first to answer this time. What is your vision for the future of this district under your leadership?
I don't really have a vision, but I want to leave a legacy that people will remember me by. And that is, Murray tried to keep our rates sustainable in the future. That's what generations, and that's what I want to be known as. Everyone's seen my rail idea, okay? A lot of people say, we don't know that's another expense. It's not an expense, people. I wouldn't be pushing this idea if I didn't know it would save at least $30 million. This one here is actually blown out. You haven't been told the figures yet, but if we were really transparent, this is blown out to over $50 million. We're still telling you it's $28 million. What happens is we're now at loggerheads with a certain group that wants things, but they won't do it. If we have to do what they are insisting, it's actually up to nearly 60 million. All I'm saying is if we have a plan B that would only cost 15 to 20% of the cost of plan A, it may convince the majority of the councillors, man, we can still connect our communities, including Inglewood, not just Waitara, okay? And we can save $30 to $40 million here. That's the only reason I've come up with this idea. Show me anyone else in this room, in council, or along here, that has one idea that could potentially save you guys, the ratepayers, $30 million plus.
Thank you. Yes, Murray. Neil?
One of the ways that we save people money is by going to Wellington and lobbying for a fair share of our income. And I just want to make something really clear. Central government charges 91% of taxes in New Zealand. Local government charges the remaining 9%. After the Three Waters reform, we'll be down to 6%. But we deliver 40% of the infrastructure. One of the reasons that I go to Wellington, I think I'm up to 8 times this last 12 months. And as we're going down there and saying, what about us? We've got these projects, we want you to invest. I think the last decent cheque that we had written was for our thermal dryer. That was 36 million. But we've also got cheques for Bell Block to Waitara safety improvements that will save lives. So I believe the way that we can save our people money is by going to Wellington and advocating for a fair share for our region.
Thank you, Neil. Murray I will allow you one reply.
I'm glad we've had a mayor that's mentioned that, because he says he goes to Wellington, that's fine, says he brings back money, but what's the reality, people? The reality is, once again, in my flyer, this page here. Let's wipe out COVID. Before COVID, okay, we had a government that was handing out money left, right and centre. It was called the Regional Development Fund. This here, okay, is all the regions. It's in that flyer. This is per head of capita that we give back to the government. This is what we got. Is there a difference? Do you think that's not very fair? That's the reality, people. People can say they do this and do that, but these are the reality. That's straight off the provincial government's website. That's what we got compared to every other region. We are not getting our fair share. And that's the reason I tried to get into Parliament, because the ones that actually had the good returns are the ones that had MPs for the Regional Development Fund representation.
Thank you, Murray. Thank you, Murray.
Matt, just one point.
Last one.
We've got the Provincial Growth Fund, right? Murray's graph shows Auckland as the biggest number. Auckland wasn't part of the Provincial Growth Fund because they didn't qualify, so I don't know where the news came from.
They had the most MPs of that party in that region. That's the reason.
Thank you, candidates. Greg?
Yeah.
What is your vision for the future of this district under your leadership?
It's simple, it doesn't take much. That's to bring and unite the community together to help us all through these problem times, and to make the decisions not for the mayors, not for the mayor nor the councillors. It's for the people to make the choice and decision. We are here as the guardians of what we have. Or should I say, they should have been. We need to be. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here for that guardianship, and if anything that comes up, and even like we say, like Okato with their water, sewerage, playgrounds, infrastructure, anything, to me that is a community decision, and we can piece that together by putting information out there once or twice, if we have to, in between your rates, so we can send a thing out to rates, and you can have a choice. So when we come together, we can find out where and who wants these done first, and then we can come back to the community and say, this is what the community decided. Is everybody happy? You can't make everybody happy. It's the infrastructure and the roading, it's appalling. We need to get something done. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Sam, what is your vision for the future of this district under your leadership?
Thank you, Matt. My vision is clear and unequivocally, and I'm going to say to you, what does it look like with me as your mayor? I will focus on our vision on the biggest growth industries for this district. What are they? Our future is in energy. It's in food, the Maori economy, tourism, housing and commercial and private construction, like our beautiful construction down the road here, the Ngāmuri Precinct development in Mayoral, and our business community. That's where our vision has to be. And to do that, we have to attract and retain and upskill great people to do the work for us. We need to make Taranaki attractive for investors so they come here and invest in our community. There is an opportunity to reduce regulatory risk and the bureaucracy to make it easy for people to do business in this building. We need to collaborate with other councils, mana whenua, central government, workers and the business community. That is a clear vision, and I am your mayor that will realise that vision for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Dinny, your turn. What is your vision for the future of the district under your leadership?
Very simple. I've always wanted our community to come together. Despite our differences, is how do we move forward together? I've always considered myself a tiarawhiti, translated as the bridge, a better bridge for understanding, to capture what's best in our community. I look at my kids and I yearn for the day that they can walk side by side with your kids without feeling discriminated, without feeling prejudice. And I yearn for that because it is possible, because I've seen it in my lifetime. I encourage all of you to walk that path. If that is the dream that brings us all together, then may I serve with dignity and integrity to see that dream come alive. Kia ora.
Thank you, Dinny. Thank you. Neil, what is your vision for the future of the district under your leadership?
Well, firstly, I just want to say it is a team effort, and you've seen the picture that we've drawn. It's on the map in front of you. It's a sustainable lifestyle capital. I want to thank Sam for summarising the work we did in Tapawaidoa. Many of the people in this room developed that, looking at energy and food and tourism and our Māori economy. But I think it's more than that. It's about creating a place that people of all ages can live and learn and work and play and come together. And I think about things that we do like the Festival of Lights. No barrier to entry. Anyone can come. We combined it with Matariki in the winter and brought thousands of people to town. It's about creating connections. But when we look forward, we have to have a place where our children can rely on our infrastructure and have meaningful jobs. Have an economy that actually can keep people here and not have them go to the main centres. We've bet on livability. We want to make this the best place to live, because this whole thing about having to work in a main centre is slowly dissipating as people use technology. We've bet on making this the best place in New Zealand to be, and that will bring people in. And to do that, we've got to invest in that infrastructure, build the community connection, and make this a place where people really care. I think the reality is the number of people that are here shows that people care. We're on the right path. There's a lot of work to be done, but as I say, I'm incredibly proud of the vision that our team put together based on what you told us.
Thank you, Neil, and I think the attendance here is a reflection of how much people care. I think it was full at 10:15. People started coming in at 9:45. So, good to see. Murray, what is your vision for the future of this district under your leadership?
My vision is to listen to the people, whether you're young, whether you're elderly, because with your input, let's say there's a pattern of 3, 4 things, seems like a good idea. Then you have to take it to the others. I can't do this on my own. The Mayor sets up subcommittees, from what I understand, about 4 of them, which is really, really important, appointing the right people, because you have got a voice. It's not my vision. I don't need the glory. I don't need a big whopping building with my name stamped on it or any of those materialistic things. I'd like to see more joy. I'd like to see more concerts at the Polar Brooklands. I'd like to see more community events. I'd like to see us as one love, moving forward. Peace, love, harmony. I'd like to see New Plymouth and further afield nice and clean, without rubbish. This was out the front garden on the corner. 2 bottles of gin if anyone wants to help themselves, because I don't drink alcohol. I wouldn't mind if rubbish was money. I'd pick it up all day long. Thank you.
Thank you for cleaning up the district just outside there, Murray. I'm glad to hear it's not your refreshments. Hey, really good answers there. I think attracting talent is a big problem. It's good. We want harmony, joy. These are good values. That's the end of our set questions. I will now throw it open to the floor. We will be circulating 2 microphones. If you want to ask a question, make yourself known to Federico or Eva. Federico, if you can go over that side. Once the microphone is in your hand, I'll let you know and you can ask your question. I'd ask that you, if you want to direct it to one candidate, make sure you make that clear at the beginning. The lady over there with her hand up, you've had it up from the beginning.
Thank you. Hi, kia ora. Thank you. That's been really interesting. I applaud all your visions for the future, for sustainability and so on, but nobody has mentioned climate change or what you're going to do about the environment, about protecting our forests and our streams and you did talk about water, but anyway, let's talk a little bit about what you think about climate change and what you're going to do to contribute towards that and to avert that disaster, which will nullify all those other wonderful plans. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Neil.
Sure. Well, first, I just want to make it clear, climate change is real and we're seeing it all around us. I was at a meeting in Wellington talking with Waka Kotahi this week, and one of my peers, Rehet Stoltz, is the Mayor of Gisborne. They've taken $37 million worth of roading damage in 3 events in the last 12 months. So we've really got to do some work around the infrastructure resilience. One of the things that we realised was the best return on our investment is planting out our place. So we've got a vision of planting out 10% of our urban areas in native, and in the last 12 months our amazing team, partnering with Mana Whenua and Wellington, have delivered 4.8 hectares. We're also looking at how we can reduce council's emissions. So you'll be aware of the $36 million thermal dryer that we're putting in to take our wastewater sludge. Instead of landfilling it, we turn it into organic fertiliser. We've developed that in a way that we can use hydrogen when it's available at a commercial rate. We're also looking at a lower emission fleet. I've been advocating for the use of electric vehicles for 6 years. I drive a plug-in hybrid. We're looking at how we lower our emissions incrementally every year. The other thing that we're doing is trying to advocate to Wellington for a sensible approach. You know, their view was stop using gas, and we told them, you do that, you can import Indonesian coal and we'll burn more of it at Huntly. Gas is a transition fuel until we eliminate the coal from our economy. And we want to work with government to help them use science and economics to make sure that we decarbonise in a way that our children will see we weren't wasteful, we didn't make silly ideologically driven mistakes. We use science and technology to make sure every year we get better. Thank you.
Murray?
I've got a challenge for the media, and hopefully you run with a story I'm going to suggest to you.
Is this answering the question about climate change?
Definitely.
Excellent.
Definitely. I challenge you to have a questionnaire and see who has the smallest carbon footprint out of any of these mayors. I think you'll find it's me. As you see, you went I got the response. You don't believe that? I can prove I've got the greenest footprint out of anyone here. Okay? So I challenge you to do that. Now,
I guess, Murray, how are you going to make sure the district addresses climate change?
That's right. So I do, I practice what I preach. Now, climate change is happening. We've got 100-year floods turning into every 10 years. However, it's your ratepayers' money that we are using that. The Mayor just said 37 million in 3 months, one of the districts. Okay? If we have a major flood, we're going to do that too. So that's what we need to put our money towards. If we put our money $200,000 or $300,000 into EV vehicles and thinking that's going to change the planet, it's not. It's virtue signalling. It's using your money to virtue signalling with no results. Okay? I want real results that make a change. Now what happens, we say we buy these EVs, but then we truck our rubbish all the way to Hampton Downs. What a joke. That's a joke. We need to do things locally, keep it local. So yes, I do practice what I preach, so I will be doing that. I'm one of the longest serving financial members of Greenpeace that regularly donates. I did that. I've also sponsored a vessel, the first vessel in New Zealand for sea shepherding. I know how to clean up the environment. I do it. I financially put through it. I challenge the others. When you ask those questions, you'll find I'm the greenest councillor there.
Thank you, Murray. And thank you for those news ideas. Does anyone else want to answer that question? Denny?
Good, thank you, Matt. Obviously, for council, we were waiting on the national, the government's national lower emission strategy, and therefore we enacted, and by using that framework, we were able to create our own. And it's just a start. But to be critical, we need to ensure that it is a priority. One of the pillars of the Local Government Act is about our environmental pillar. Right at the top as a priority should be how do we deal with ongoing climate change. And you can look at historical reports where you've had environmental groups over the past couple of decades come to council over those decades to lobby, to advocate, and to fight on behalf of the community with the environment. You need to work in partnership with not only the Taranaki Regional Council, but where I see the most opportunity, and that's working in alignment with Mana Whenua, Hapu and Iwi. This opportunity here is something where there was a rāhui put on because of the desecrations of our kaimoana, and now they are working with the community to ensure the preservation and the rejuvenation of our kaimoana. This is a collective approach, and that's what we need moving forward. Kia ora.
Thank you, Denny. Sam, you would like to answer this question too?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Look, I suppose the question that the community would like to know, does Sam Bennett believe in climate change? Absolutely, 100%. So, in addition to the mitigation and adaptation goals currently planned with our MPPC climate change framework and our draft emissions reduction plan, we need to focus on future opportunities that we can afford. In particular, green waste collection and diversion from our landfill, collection of commercial food waste, and a Colton Road landfill gas capture system. That's an opportunity, and we should be doing that. What else are we doing? We are being very proactive as your council around climate change. We are trialling low carbon fleet options. We, the Taranaki 2050 roadmap, on our way to lower carbon future. We are looking at offshore wind opportunities, at carbon sequestration. We are looking at hydrogen technology and developing a sustainable food sector. I think we are doing amazing work. But you know, climate change won't go away. It's not going anywhere, and if we don't deal with it as soon as we can, we are setting up our children to fail. But we need to come and ask you, what do you want to invest in the opportunities moving forward? Because it costs money. So do you want more rates for climate change, or should I hop on the plane with Neil and go to Wellington and say to the government, we need your support? Because if you want a greener future, we can't do it because we're already financially stressed. So I have a big expectation on the central government to come play with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. I just like candidates to bear in mind I've lost my timekeeper, so brevity is the word of the day. Greg.
Climate change is definitely here. We need to have a look, and it's all, as you know, it's all to do with the atmosphere of what's happening around us and all our emissions and that are going up there. I'll just keep it simple, up to the community, what we do and how we do it. But I'd like to see more trees planted and some more wetlands go in. We've lost 90% of wetlands in Taranaki, probably over that now, and it all comes down to all those sort of things. Whereas we plant our native trees, we're quite partial native trees, in the areas where we can't get at, and then in the areas where we can put fruit trees in for the community to help themselves. And I just would leave it up to the community, because we all have different ideas. Everybody has different ideas. Someone may come up with a better solution than any of us sitting up here. So I welcome that. I welcome that, because it's our future and our children's future, and we have to need to do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Greg. I can attest to the quality of the pears on Cumberland Ave Community Orchard. We have more questions, but I'll just put some people out of their misery. We'll go Graham, Peter, Michelle. So, Graham, your question, please.
Graham Cochrane, Chairperson, CCS Disability Action. What are you guys going to do about these shocking footpaths? We've got a lot of our clients, they just can't get around the town. And some of the disability car parks, there's no little ramp there. You get out in a wheelchair, you've got to get over the footpath. I've probably walked and run more streets around this bloody town in the last 20 years than most of you put in the room. And I can tell you out there yesterday morning, Devon Street, along, down to St Auburn Street, back along the walkway, 2 or 3 of us nearly fell over with some of the rubbishy surfaces on those footpaths. I think that's something you should be really looking at, and what are you going to do about it?
Thank you, Graham. It's come up before. Neil.
Sure. I remember when I first got in here, and I was sitting down in the tea room with one of the contract managers, and talking about footpaths 6 years ago. Do you know what the budget was for New Plymouth District Council for the entire district for footpaths? There wasn't one. There's not $1. We've now lifted the budget for footpaths, and we're also now getting matched funding from Wakakotahi. We're working to replace the worst ones first, but the state of, I suppose, our infrastructure and the scale of the work that needs to be done, I can't promise you that we can fix them all overnight. It's going to take years. The long-term plan that we've developed really lays out a 15-year strategy to slowly catch up on all of the infrastructure maintenance and work that wasn't done. So we've lifted that, and when people talk about rates, this is what our rates are going into. They're going into roading infrastructure, footpaths, the 3 waters, And well, I mean, the reality is we're working through the most difficult ones first, and then slowly getting there. Thank you.
Thank you. Denny, you've indicated, and then you, Sam.
Kia ora, thank you for the question. As someone who is a full-time caregiver of a loved one who is disabled, I understand the pain. When I entered in politics in 2019, I'm glad that the incumbent said that there was no budget for our footpaths, because there was also no accessibility strategy in this council. So as chair of the Age and Accessibility Working Party, alongside with my rival, Sam Bennett, we got to work. Painstakingly slow work, but we got to work. We had incredible advocates and champions who were appointed from the community to come in and help us with the work. What I can say to you is that through our lobbying, through our group's hard advocacy, this New Plymouth District Council now has an accessibility strategy that is now implemented throughout the council. Again, a start, but we identified a clear issue, and that issue has come up numerous times at our committee. But we weren't ones to just sit on the sidelines and do nothing. We championed, we advocated, and I know that we can do more, and I hope to do more as your mayor. Kia ora.
Thank you, Denny. Sam.
Graham, I feel your pain, and what Denny has just said, you know, we've spent 3 years together with age and accessibility around people that are older with age concern and disability, and it's, you know, I'm pleased to see Erica here today. And so Erica is somebody that knows this firsthand. And Neil hit it on the head. There was no budget. You can't fix anything without any money, and there's some in there. But what I've found is that we have inherited decades of uninvestment. I don't have, as your new mayor, a magic wand. I don't have that. All I can say is that now we have budgeted, and we've got maintenance schedules that we will do the very best to keep our footpaths maintained as best as we can. And so it is difficult when you would keep inheriting decades of uninvestment. And guess who gets the finger pointed? All of us, because it's our fault. Well, it's not my fault, but I'm willing to fix it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Murray?
Yes, last term, the term before the recent term, obviously, I was also chair of Accessibility Committee. What we found, and it's not just that committee, it's many committees, a lot of them are talk fest. You have a meeting, you have committees, but nothing comes out of it. It turns around in circles, about 5 circle cycles before anything gets done. I believe that we need to work with you guys directly. You guys find the issues, and we have a meeting, and we come up with at least 10 fixes on a bi-monthly basis, 10 fixes that can be done. So we get action from every meeting. That's how business works, that's how entrepreneurs works, and that's how we need to get the results for you guys. In my term as chair, they also did an audit of Fitzroy shops. They did an audit of all the accessibilities. Someone went and took photos of every little issue. We didn't even know what they were. That was one of the best audits from council I've ever read. Okay? And if you want to know where the money's going from, I think 2 terms previous, do you know where the Marfell Housing Community Development has just been? And if you remember that, it was a big, huge blank area and had a ring road of pathways around it. They replaced 89 metres of pathway on that. I said, what are you doing that for? Because they're going to be building houses on it. Oh, we need to do it because we need to do it for that. Okay? 18 months later, all that brand new pathway was ripped up and they put new housing there. What a waste of money. That could have gone a long way to your paths for the disabled.
Thank you, Murray. It appears you've raised an issue there, so Sam, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I'm going to defend the Age and Accessibility Committee. Back in your day, Murray, nothing, sit down, it's not your turn. Back in your day, when you were chair, of course there's nothing getting done. But I tell you what, with this guy as our chair and our committee, with this young lady in the front, we have been proactive. We have an agent accessibility strategy that we advocate to this council, and we have got some good work done. So I will defend the work that we've done, and I thank people like Erica and this man here for being proactive. We don't go in circles, we get stuff done. Absolutely.
Wai kia ora.
Kia ora. Tātou.
Here's the reality. Again in 2019 when I met the committee advisors and I asked them about the Agent Accessibility Working Party because I was passionate in serving our elderly and those with disabilities. I asked them what is the construct, what are the issues that our elderly communities are facing and our disabled families are facing. And then what are the challenges that former committee members have had. And I'm going to be kind, but the words weren't pretty. So we had a clean slate. There was only one surviving member of that committee appointed from the community, and that was Lance Girling Butcher, and he was extraordinary. He was the leader that founded this and his advocacy, and we honour him every chance we got to have a meeting. Every chance we got. But as you can see, we're workers and we work, and that's what we did. Our committee had the most staff members, had the most people doing submissions because I had an open door policy and I wanted to hear these views from the community. It was an extraordinary time. I love that committee, I love that community, and I'll continue to do so as you'll meet.
Thank you, Denny. Thank you, Sam. I'm going to allow Murray a right of reply, and then we'll move on to the next question. Murray?
It's quite interesting. Sam always seems to get personal. He doesn't look at the issue. That's why he's had 2 code of conducts against him. Okay? No, it's true. Okay? You know, he's also says he speaks for the community, but he's one person who didn't allow you to vote on certain issues. And I'm saying the Maori ward. He didn't. Now who's talking? So all I'm saying is make sure you listen to the people and the actions, what they do and how they react. It's very important. Okay? These councillors weren't there when I was in the disability, so how do they know? Okay? That's an attack. And I will be the bigger man and I won't attack that. But I will certainly not stand up for getting personal like that. I think you need to sort of actually realise what you're doing, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you, Murray. We'll move on to the next question. Peter, if you can get the microphone there. And then Michelle, and then the lady in the middle row with the face mask.
Thank you. Given that the Taranaki Maori economy is approaching $1 billion, how will you as mayor ensure that they continue to invest in our district rather than taking their funds and investing elsewhere?
Murray, you will be the first candidate to respond.
Effective communication called huis, representatives of iwis, and then put it on the table and have communication and get some bright ideas and input from those that are clicky clue, because I'm for building rather than tearing down, prosperity. You know, for example, there's one gentleman, he's just employed 22, he invented some kaikoka. You know, and that's just one example. There are those out there that want to work, and just having the idea, community things, but getting the iwi, and that it's not about money, it's about ideas to sow seed into good ground so that it may grow for everyone, the bigger picture. So listen up to those who are mātuas and who have got wisdom, the elderly, because they'll look after the younger ones, the next generation. Hallelujah.
Thank you, Murray. So Murray and then Neil. Sorry for the confusion there.
That's a great reply. I was really impressed with that. So, you know, yes, there is a $1 billion industry locally here for a certain group. There are many businesses that are $1 billion industries, and we don't just need to concentrate on one group. We just need to concentrate on working with many industries that are just as big, that can actually work together. So I say, if I become your mayor, I want to attract all sectors of the industry, not just one sector, race-based sector, to come to me to work and see if we can go and work together. So it's all aspects, it's all industries, not just one industry.
Neil.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, Matua Peter. So thank you, and it's not just what I will do, it's what I have done. You'll recall the work that I did to encourage our government to clean up the Barrett Street Hospital site, which Te Atiawa has first right of refusal. It is potentially going to be one of the largest developments we'll see in the central city, and we managed to get government to remove the asbestos and lead. The way that we can support tangata whenua to develop their investment portfolio in Taranaki is by building trust and building relationships. I think you can see examples of the trust and relationships that we have in the work that Jackie King and I have done in advocating to clean up the Cortiva site at Back Beach. We actually sit down and talk regularly, the likes of with Jackie, with Liana, with Dion, with Wharihoka, with Tamsin, you know, with our iwi chairs, basically saying, what is it that you want us to do? How can we work together? What are the barriers that you have? And then how do we unlock them? And so I think the commitment has always been, we want to see them become the Ngāi Tahu of the North Island. We want them to grow value, because what's good for our Māori economy is good for all of our people. But it's not just talk. You actually look at what we're doing and we're getting real results. And I'm really proud of the relationships we've built and really looking forward to continuing them. Thank you.
Dinny.
Kia ora mātua. Thank you for the question. I've immersed myself in this world practically all my life, and what I'm loving is the amount of opportunity that's presented to us as a community. And when we look at realigning investment, what iwi have done is been very focused on ensuring that we invest in our district. The buildings that we are purchasing, the police station, the courthouse, the Atkins building, the educational house, the Novotel. These are all clear indicators that we can help our economy simply by reinvesting in our local economy. But there is no candidate that sit alongside me, including the incumbent, that has that depth of relationship and that strength of relationship with mana whenua, hapu and iwi. And there have been some challenges with regards to that synergy with working with them. But here's what I do know, is that when the opportunity arises for us to come together, when these clear strategic plans to help build our economy is led, and yes, Murray, by multiple sectors, it's taking that opportunity and working together, because I can tell you in another 5 to 10 years, they'll be an economic powerhouse, and they will be looking at reinvesting more back into our district of New Plymouth and our region of Taranaki, and that's very exciting. Kia ora.
Thank you very much, Dinny. Sam.
Kia ora mātua. Haere mai. Nice to see you. Hey, look, I'm not going to regurgitate what my colleagues have said, both Dinny and Neil, because they've hit it on the head. Dinny mentioned a term, economic powerhouse. Māori business, as I mentioned before, is one of our growth opportunities that's right in front of us now. Look, I can assure you, Peter, if I'm your mayor, I will continue to partner with mana whenua, with our 5 iwi in this district, and actually our 8 iwi in Taranaki, to bring your business to town. Because whether, you know, whatever your view around Māori is, everything that is good for Māori is good for all of us. It's good for all of us, and we can grow exponentially. And the good thing that we have secured local government funding to build new units on existing Māori land near services and utility. My promise to you is that through this building, through our regulatory services, that we make it easy to business with you and to partner together for the betterment of our community, Peter. Kia ora.
Okay, Greg.
Simple,
Last,
really.
last answer.
Yeah, it's an honest answer. I don't care who you are, where you come from. I'll work with anybody. And that's the way it should be. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Next question, we've got Michelle Fed there, and then we have the woman in the face mask. Sorry, I can't be more than that.
Sorry, had to write it down. With respect to all the candidates here today, my question is just to the 3 existing councillors who are running against the incumbent. Sorry, no, 3 existing. Those. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I'm not talking about Neil, that are running against the incumbent. 3 existing councillors. 1, 2, 3. Yep, okay. No. You are perhaps more educated with the legislation that defines the powers of central versus local government. Though not always agreeing with some government decisions, it is necessary for our mayor and councillors to work within the confines of this. This sometimes requires going against your personal feelings and commitments you make during the election campaign. How will you manage these conflicts that negate the pledges made to the voters by yourself? And will you be open and transparent with them when you after the fact and say we knew we couldn't do that?
Okay, so who wants to answer that first of the 3?
Thanks, Michelle. That was a really long-winded question, but I'll try and get to the nuts and bolts of it. It was quite a difficult question, but look, I just want to explain to everyone here that, what does local government control? Let's listen here. And what does local government, what should we influence? So, your council control, that's what we do. We control and govern the day-to-day core services that impact our daily lives. What does that mean? Roads, water systems, rubbish, collection, libraries, parks, community centres, dog registration, community and economic development and district planning. That's what we do. That's our job. Conversely, there are some things that we can influence, which you're alluding to, Michelle. So conversely, what can we do to make a difference moving forward, working with government organisations? We can influence sustainable economic growth with Vincent Taranaki, which is our CCO, and our Chamber of Commerce, and developments such as the amazing Ngāmuri Precinct development, ultimately by the private sector, and the council support the influence, again, of Maori development opportunities like Maori housing, ultimately delivered by iwi, hapu and Maori enterprise. Look, I am very careful about making promises, because you know what? I'm okay with being accountable, but I will not stand up here and bullshit you, because you're here to keep me accountable. My job is to keep this organisation accountable back to you, and I'm happy to have a conversation maybe after this, Michelle. I just thought your question was a bit weird. It wasn't clear. Well, it wasn't clear, mate. Well, not for me, it wasn't.
Have we got another candidate who wants to answer that question?
Yeah, why not?
Murray?
We're all individuals in council. We're not central government, we're local government. As councillors, you vote on the individual to represent you as an individual. And if the council go against that, it's up to the, and my fellow councillor Annika's looking at me and shaking her, nodding her head, because she's one girl that actually stands by her ethics.
Girl. By that. Be respectful, Murray.
Oh, whatever. She knows what I mean. She wasn't offended. But all I'm saying is sometimes we have to represent and stick to our guns on many things. We get a change of government, those rules change. Does that mean we have to change? No, we have to stand our ground. We have to stand our ground and make sure we're not going to be bullied by Big Brother.
Thank you, Murray. Dinny?
Kia ora, Michelle. I'm listening to the answers, and I'd actually like to answer your question directly.
Good on you, mate.
Can you please repeat the question so I can make sure I answer your question? No, this has got nothing to do with Michelle. It's actually got everything to do with your answers. So Michelle, in hindsight, what I'm trying to gauge from you is that you are wanting to see in terms of how we work together. Can you please? Michelle. Thank you. The answer is a simple yes. In terms of transparency, that's our role as local government. It's interesting because reading the Local Government Act isn't a happy read. It isn't thrilling, but if we are to be competent and confident at our job, we need to understand it, at least the purpose of it, which is to enable and promote those full wellbeing pillars. It's also to consult with our community, while at the same time, it's also to ensure that we are making decisions on behalf of the entire community. Transparency should just be an absolute, and it's ensuring our public know that what we say, what we mean, is what we do. And if we don't do that, then we should hold ourselves to account for you. Kia ora.
Okay, we have another question in the middle there.
Hi, kia ora. My name's Tio Rose, and I'm sorry if I'm reiterating some of the points that were brought up before. My question is to do with what I see in our community. I see results like you do. There is a disability committee, and way back I was on it for a while. But the results for people who deal with disability every day of their lives, and I've worked in that field all my life and now it's in my life, how can we produce better results? A new building goes up, something changes in the community, roads, crossings, whatever. The answer I get when I ask why is it like this, no one can actually use it, is it's built to code. And this is not satisfactory, mainly because we can't get across the bloody road.
Can you just get to a question, please?
So the question is, how can the corporation, as someone's called it, be more effective in delivering results right now? And it's okay to say we don't have a budget for it. But the fact is that things have been done this year that cost megabucks, that people with babies, prams, wheelchairs, you name it, the elderly, cannot use. It's happening right now.
So the question is, how can council deliver right now on
how can you be more effective in making sure that your recommendations from a caring, greatly contributing group actually have some effect?
Sam, you indicated you want to answer first.
Sorry, what was your name? Hi, Gio. Look, I understand where you're coming from, and I think what I've noticed in the last 3 years working on age and accessibility, and again, Erica's in front of us, we understand the problems, and the benefit of having age and accessibility working party is we have never been so proactive, getting people like yourself and saying to our worker party, these are the issues that we can then advocate through to council to make decisions here. They take time. I'm sorry, but that's the truth of it. Like, I don't have a magic wand to do everything. I'm assuming Craig Nelson's here too, running for council, an extraordinary man when it comes to knowing how to put age and accessibility equipment in to make it more friendly, but it takes time to develop, to co-design and get work done. And all I can say is that we are acutely aware of those problems, and we will do as much as we can, as quick as we can. That I can assure you. Thank you. Just going to go for a break.
Thank you, Sam. Neil?
I think the answer is about design, and I think I'd acknowledge the work that Sam and Dinny and the committee have done, Erica and Lance. And what we've actually said is when we're designing new equipment, new buildings, new facilities, that we are trying to make them as accessible as possible for everybody. I'll give you an example, and I suppose we've got this value around partnership, and we've developed the New Plymouth Partners program, and through that our philanthropists are looking to fund Destination Play, which is going to be the most fantastic playground in New Zealand, and it's designed to be fully accessible, that there are no barriers. We're working with the committee and with members of that group and their advocates to ensure that it works for everyone. When we replace, and I think one of Lance's achievements was this corner out here outside of Leardit Street, they made some significant changes to make it easier. But we know we've got a lot of work to do, but I think the thing is that as we go around and maintain and replace things, we try to make them better. The reality is we've got billions of dollars worth of assets. We change them very rarely. We replace things when they come to the end of their life. We can't make everything brand new today. But the theory is that each time we learn something from the committee and from our community, we update our designs so that when we do replace things, they work for everyone. We're trying to get better day by day, but it is a big organisation and it takes time.
Thank you, Neil. We'll have Murray and then Dinny.
Hey, thanks for that. I guess you're alluding to the dog's breakfast of Vogeltown shops. That's one example. One of many, yeah, exactly. And I don't think we're learning, people. Who remembers in the 1980s when they took this traffic lights out of Leardit Street, main town? Remember that? Do you remember what happened? About a year later they put them back, but they had to actually employ traffic people to manage the traffic. Now this was designed by traffic professionals saying that's good because we'll have more people in the CBD and there'll be less cars and all this. This is the attitude they're going. They're thinking above, and we're not there yet. We need to make sure they make all the intersections harder. Good for the pedestrians, but hard for the cars. But we are still a car city. We're not there yet. Okay? That's what we need to realise. The stadium here, okay, we're going to spend tens of millions of dollars if it goes ahead. I don't think it will, but if it goes ahead, do you realise they're actually going to supply less car parks up there than they are now? And they want it to grow. That there, why are we thinking like this? We should not be the guinea pigs for road experts that don't even live here, and then we cop the price because when we have to do it, it's your ratepayers that we have to pay twice to fix.
Thank you, Murray. We've got Dinny and then Greg and...
Kia ora, thank you very much for the question. It means a lot to hear that advocacy, especially for our disabled community. You know, Professor Janine Hayward down at the University of Otago said that the construct of local government is designed to exclude the voices of minorities. So as our elderly community, as our disabled community, all they've ever wanted was fairness and equity. That's all they've ever wanted. They want to ensure that when they walk across the road that it's safe. They want to ensure that when they go to the shops that they don't need to lift their loved one like I do into stalls that have no accessibility. What we tried to do as a committee from the Age and Accessibility Working Party is really understand, one, the construct that we are operating in, two, knowing that council are bound by legislation, and then how do we navigate through the noise to ensure we can have proactive steps forward. The age and accessibility strategy that MPDC have now implemented throughout is the beginning, but knowing that it was over the last term, 2019 to now, that we were able to create that. What I'm hoping is that is the foundation for us to do more work in that space. Kia ora.
Thank you, Denny. Greg, you'd like to respond?
I'm an engineer by trade, and I love solving problems. It's one of the things that they gave me at work when I was there. If you want to solve a problem, go and see Greg. Okay? I love designing things, and I love that things like more accessible for everybody and easy going. Now, when they say a little bit of lack of finance to be able to do this, they have got a little bit there for doing it. They're looking at wasting $7 million to dividing downtown, the middle of the CBD area. They may be able to fill you in a little bit more about that. That's $11 million that we can put into disability stuff. I was 2 millimetre off being quadriplegic. Yeah? So I know where you're coming from. I will put all my effort into helping resolve some of these problems around the footpaths for everybody. Gutters, wherever accessibility is needed. I'm there for you, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Greg, for sharing that. Sam, did you want? Did you? Yep.
Yeah, Coach, I can. Thank you, Murray, for sharing your wisdom with us. I was looking at my colleague David Bublitz around the car parking comment that you made, and we both looked at each other absolutely confused. Murray, can you just clarify for our community at large, is the information that you've just provided around car parking factual, or is it your subjective view? Thank you.
We were explained in a workshop, so obviously you weren't listening in the workshop. Okay? We were explained a lot of things in March in the workshop about that stadium, and I'm going to tell you. Okay? I'm going to tell you what really happened. We were told $90 million for that. Okay? It's actually now 110 for plan stage 1. Stage 1, people. Well, what's the stage 1? Because they're not even having a netball up there. Did you know that? Okay? They're having less car parks because they get more funding from the government, because if they try and push people for walking. This was all at a workshop. Okay? It's actually increased a lot more than you think. Also, we were going to raise 40 million and then Sport Taranaki with 50 million. Okay? And you know, because you were at the workshop too, all these people, but they're not telling you this. To get government funding, we've been advised by our advisor that we pay thousands, okay, that you now have to raise 2/3. So even if it was worth $90 million, it's now 60 million we have. Now it's up to 110, 120. That figure is now $90 million we have to find. And, you know, they're not doing it because this is in the full stages. This is what we voted for. Now, if you were building a house and you were to build it because you said, I don't like my house because it hasn't got a theatre, a 3-car garage, or a spa pool, and he goes, I can build that for 500,000. He comes back to you and he says, I can build it for 700,000, but you won't have those 3. You turn around and say, well, if I'm not having those 3, why am I moving house? I might as well stay where I am and renovate my one. And he goes, no, but you said you wanted a house. Not under those conditions. So we need to bring this back, people, and we need to see if you really want to commit $80 to $90 million, not the $40 million you were being told. We were told in a workshop. In August, I said, when are we going to let this out? It needs to be before the election. And the response is, we don't want to make this an election issue. Well, the money's not going away, people. So whoever you get in, I'm telling you, I'm being transparent. It shouldn't be an election issue. It should, but they're saying it shouldn't be.
Thank you, Murray.
And that's why I'm telling you now.
Just to clarify, there's a documented price increase that has been kept secret. Is that what you're saying?
We were told in March of these costs. We were told in June they will be let out. Now, a good example of not being told things is when we voted for communities for local democracy. Okay?
I guess, Murray, is there a documented figure that is being kept secret from ratepayers? Is that what you're alleging?
I feel it is. However, figures.
So there is or there isn't? It's okay.
I challenge the council and the mayor to publicly and transparently tell us what went down in the workshop we had, because you guys need to know before you need to vote.
All right. Thank you for that. Does anyone like to reply? Yep.
We haven't got a detailed design, but one thing I will say is, and I've made it really clear, the reason I supported the Sports Hub was about netball. There's 9,000 girls and women that play netball in Taranaki. We've seen all of the sports investment in the past primarily go to men and boys. And so when they came to us with a design that didn't have netball in it, and I said, well, I'm not going to support that. This was actually about equity of investment and investing in netball. I've driven past Waiwakaio for years thinking it's actually an accident waiting to happen. So to be clear, we don't have a figure because we don't even have a design. But look, I will say, we know that construction inflation is going up. So it will be more. When we signed this plan off a couple of years ago, we forecast 2.5% inflation. We're dealing with 7.3. But it's fair to say, Murray, we don't have a price because we don't have a design. But one thing I will say is the Sports Hub needs to have netball in it, and I've been 100% clear on that from day one.
Can you... Can you confirm what I said was stated in a workshop? Yes or no?
Just to reply.
Because I know it was, and you guys all know it was too. Wow. Obviously.
Was a figure stated at a workshop, as Murray alleges?
Thank you, Richard.
Look.
No, sorry, I'm not putting up with that. In a meeting recently with the, you actually brought it up yourself, Deputy Mayor, about these costs, about 110 and about no netball. So if you say no, you actually brought it up in a meeting, and I can supply that video if you need it. This is a transparency you're not being told, people. You need to be.
Okay, we look forward to that in future. And that brings us to an end of the questions.
It's true, man. I can't believe it.
So thank you, candidates, for this morning. The one thing left is your closing statement. Again, 90 seconds. We'll start with Greg. Move left. Move right.
I've been first for a while. I'd love to be your mayor, and I think working together with all the community is what we need. And yeah, I've put my heart and soul into it. We need it. We got to have it. And I won't make decisions, any big decisions, without the community's input. You own it, we own it. We've got to do it. We've got to save money somehow, right? And I'm one for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Sam?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have endured a tough term together, an unparalleled term that has seen us all navigate our way through a global pandemic, coupled by complex and onerous government reform that will and continue to affect us both good and bad for many years to come. However, I have thoroughly enjoyed every single minute of being your elected member, and I thank you for your support and confidence in me. I am just a resident and a ratepayer, just like you folks. I have tried my very best to make informed decisions, not for us here today, but for our children and our grandchildren. I stand by every decision that I have made this term. It has been a privilege and honour to work with some amazingly talented colleagues, including, most importantly, your new Plymouth District Council staff, who for me are the real unsung heroes of your council, not me. I believe that leadership is the fortitude to make difficult decisions in the face of adversity, irrespective of my own popularity. Popularity, ego and money are not what drives me, people. What drives me is you and your well-being. That's all I care about every day, and I want you and your families to be happy, healthy and safe. As Meng Foon, my mentor, said to me, the best way for Sam to find solutions to our community's issues is over a cup of tea and a bicky and a chat. Your mayoral office will be wide open to join me for that cuppa and a chat, and I will supply the bickies myself. Hui e, taiki e, forward together, vote. Number 1, Sam Bennett for your new mayor on the 8th of October. Thank you.
Free biscuits too. Thank you, Sam. Dinny.
Here we go. I had a whole speech plan to present to you all to advocate and lobby why I deserve. I'm just going to go with my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a Category 5 hurricane of hope. I'm a bolt of electricity that's come through this council chambers, and with dignity and integrity, I have served a community that I love. 6 years ago, you gave someone the opportunity who didn't have local governance experience. And you gave that person a chance to work on behalf of the community. I've been an underdog all my life, and I've loved and relished the challenge that presents us today. As that underdog, all I can say is I ask for you all to give me the same chance to work on behalf of our community, the same chance to bring our community together, the same chance to lobby and advocate and go down Wellington and do what mayors do best, advocate for our community. I ask you for your vote. Kia ora koutou.
6 years ago, largely because of what happened in this room, my life changed forever. When I got the call in 2016, it rocked me, and as some of you know, I called Melissa. I promised her I wouldn't win, and she said, what a disaster. We were stunned. I sat up there in the corner of my office for days, and I was scared and worried that I was out of my depth. But little by little, amazing people in our community stepped up and helped. Many of them are here today, and I want to thank you. I want to acknowledge the support of my fellow councillors and board members and the wider MPDC team. You have all been incredible. We've come together firmly focused on the future, firmly focused on making a positive difference. I want to thank everyone who has stepped up from our community. You have all helped this team blow off the trainer wheels, build skills, build knowledge, build confidence, to do the right thing, even when it's not been popular. I am incredibly proud of what we have achieved together, and we've been firmly focused on future generations. It's been a privilege to serve you. This is the hardest job I've ever done, but it also is the most rewarding job I've ever done. It fills me with a sense of gratitude and satisfaction, and I skip into my office every day. The last thing I want to do is acknowledge my beautiful wife, Melissa, who is my rock, and she has put up with a lot for me doing this job, but it's been worth it. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. Aroha mai.
First, I'd like to have a shout out for my little sister, happy birthday. Secondly, I'd like to share my condolences with a good friend lost his sister, this morning, the Ngātai whānau family. It disheartens me when I see and hear what's going on in this election campaign. I would like to stop the negativity and apply some positivity by giving his worship the respect he is due with a simple thank you. Our current mayor, do you hear that? Current mayor, Neil Holdham, has done his best diligently to lead the city of New Plymouth for the past 6 years. The man's after a hat trick. I wish you, your worship, all the very best up to October, Saturday the 8th, 1 second past 12, when voting ceases. To Melissa, you're a great woman, wife, mother, even though I don't personally know you. Hallelujah.
I'm lucky last. Hey, you get what you see with me. I am almost too honest for my own good, but I will not put up with us getting information from our managers, having workshops. You only see half of what councillors do, and then when I query those questions, what is the response? Oh, we didn't hear that. Well, I'm telling you, what I'm saying is true. Why would I twist that? Okay? The fact that the Deputy Mayor stood up and said incorrect when he himself confirmed it in a meeting. This is the transparency you're not. I don't like the spin. You don't like the spin. You need the transparency. That's what you need. That's what everyone's crying out for. I've been in business for 26 years, 23 of those as a mortgage and advisor. I see people's budgets every day. On average, 1 to 2 people in tears in my office a year. In the last 18 months, around 15. In the last 10 days, over 50 people have visited my office, over 110 phone calls, just on this council issue. That's the transparency I want, that's the communication, and that's what I want to be for your person. And also, yes, I say it as I see it. I want to take that one step better. I say it as it needs to be said for your benefit. You're the team, and this is a debating chamber. It's not an agreeing chamber. Okay? That's the important thing. We're not supposed to agree all the time. So, hey, if you want the honesty, if you want the respect, and if you want the transparency for you guys, vote one council, and especially one mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to an end. I'd like to another round of applause to congratulate the candidates. Look, we wouldn't have an election without you. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of commitment to stand up in your community to be voted on. So thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who has come along or tuned in on our live stream. You're all a big part of what this decision will be. So let's wait 2 weeks, see what happens. Thank you, Matt, very much.
Thanks, Matt.